Well, hello there, boys and girls. I'm here to give another really great update on basically what we were discussing yesterday. Before I get started, everything I'm going to say is not financial advice. You're responsible for your own trades, and just here to give you my opinion on the market and where things currently stand. So, without further ado, I think we should go ahead and get started here. Um, I want to focus on what everybody was talking about. I want to focus a little bit on lumens. Um, so lumens, and if you're on the Discord server, you know that we've been talking about this, extensively this morning. And we were watching this go from 8 cents up to 12 and a half cents within a matter of just minutes. If I go down to a 5 minute chart, you're going to see this. It just shot up and broke through 8 cents, and then within 10, 15 minutes, it went all the way up to 12 and a half cents, and then it just came right back down. I wouldn't necessarily call this a pump and dump, even though that's what it looks like. It's very obvious that the order books were empty. And what I can show you to validate that the order books were empty is this candle, this 5 minute candle closed at 10 cents. The next candle opened at almost 8.7 cents. And there was no movement within here. It was just simply that this trade ended here and the next trade was all the way down here. So the order book was just completely empty. Resistance on Coinbase at least is going to be well under 9 cents for lumens going forward. I'd be very careful buying this right now, especially at the price that it currently is. Yes, we had a huge blow off candle here, and on Coinbase, lumens did exceed any other exchange. It was, I don't know if you would call it retailers. Typically what I tend to think, and I could be wrong here. What I tend to think is, people are opening up their Coinbase app because they're hearing, oh my goodness, Lumens is up 40%, and they're, rushing to get in and causing that price to go up. Now the volume on Lumens was extremely high. If we take a look at the 5 minute, look at this volume that we had, moving our way into the rise was, pretty standard. And then, here, I mean, you could call this a blow off. This was just complete and utter just FOMO into the rise, just what I try and tell everybody not to do. So, again, you have to be very careful with that. The hourly candle, this ended absolutely awful. It was just terrible. Look at that wick and rejection. So I'm saying this all simply to say that don't buy here expecting it to go back to 12 and a half cents. Chances are pretty good it will, but it's going to take a lot of time for that to happen. If you're going to buy in this range, you're going to want to sell at 9 cents or below. So you don't look for a 100% gain, which is what happened, to be quite honest. We were under 6 cents and we went all the way up to over 12 cents. Again, this is just on Coinbase. I don't think it broke 10 cents on some of the other exchanges. So be careful buying here. If I were going to buy, I would buy back into lumens about maybe like 7.3 cents, anywhere between 7.3 cents. I would expect this to be pretty decent support and to be looking to sell around 8 or 8.5 cents. I don't know that I would even wait for 9 cents to happen because that may not happen. So I just have to be real careful about that. Now, what I want to do is I'm not sure if Coinbase has this much data to support it. Yeah, it does look like there is a bit of data there. So, we definitely have resistance here at this level. So we can see this pretty clear. So let me just put a little line here, put a horizontal line. You can see support, 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 kind of support, broke through, and then it was resistance. And that was your sort of last chance to sell. And, when we come all the way down here, what are we seeing? Well, my first area, there's a couple areas here to really pay attention to. This level here, that's not the one. This level right here, let's see if it puts it in the right spot for me. I'm going to have to move it around. So this level right here is important, as is this level kind of right where we're at right now, to be completely honest. So this level right here, so we had decent support, a good reaction off of it. We came back and then we kind of broke through it, and then we found this as resistance. That's actually where we are right now. So this is important. If we can close the daily above this level, I might change my thoughts on this. But really, this is an area that you need to be careful buying into. All right, so that's all on Lumens that I want to talk about. Let's take a look at Ripple because Ripple is also looking pretty decent. Looking at Ripple on a daily, Coinbase doesn't have as much data to support this, but what I will point out is this level right here is something we need to pay attention to. It was resistance, broke through it pretty clean back in May. Then we found support a couple times. So, we rallied up to 50 cents, and we've come down. Now, right now, the critical support that we are looking at, which was previously resistance, is going to be sitting right down here. I'm kind of taking a look at a few different areas. This is probably the most important level, which is just above 29 cents. So we'll call it 29 cents just for good measure. That is important support. So if you were able to buy and or accumulate down here in the 25 to 26 cent range, if we close the daily below 29 cents, you're going to want to look to get out of this trade because this is going to be our new support. So, this is sort of a loose support. We were closing below it, but we eventually came back up and found support above it. That's when we got our major rise there. We had support here, a decent rally, very similar to Lumens. Then we found support, we broke through it, and here's our resistance. So this again is at 29 cents or so. We had some resistance yesterday, we broke through it today. So if we come back to 29 cents, I might consider accumulating there. Again, looking at this from an Elliott wave perspective, again, not many people are Elliott wave fans out there. I tend to be. I tend to look at this from the bottom and starting on a 1 and working my way down to a 2. And we haven't quite hit the 1618, but we did break the 1236. So what this is telling me, just so that you kind of get the thought process behind me, when you see an impulse up and a correction, and then you see another move up, if it goes farther than 123.6% the size of the 1, which is this wave right here, we're coming back down. And so basically what this is doing, again, and I've said this on many other videos, you're measuring this wave and you are projecting it from the bottom of the correction, which I'm projecting from down here at 24.3 or 24.4 cents. So for an ABC correction, you want 61.8, the 100, or the 123.6, and we almost got all the way to the 1618, which is good. So this is telling me we're going to have another wave up. So where is it going to correct to, and where am I going to be projecting this to be hitting? All right, well, let's take a look at this. If we take it and assume that on this day we don't go any higher and we're basically stopping at 32.6 cents, I'm going to be looking for a pullback to about 29.5 cents, which is perfect because 29 cents is our important support that we need to hold. So pulling back to 29.5 cents, that would be an area that I would be looking to buy. I would not buy up here unless you are planning on holding forth through 34, 35 cents. I do believe this 37 cents is going to be very hard for us to push through. So just keeping an eye on that. I do think that that's something that we need to, don't get greedy. Don't hold on to things because especially if you accumulated it down here, this was a fantastic trade and you don't want to miss out on profits. So just be very careful with that. Look for a pullback to the 382, which is a valid pullback for this. If I zoom in just a little bit more, let's pay attention to this right here. So let me pull out my horizontal ray. This was the top of my 1. So again, this further institutes the importance of this level. We do not want this wave back to penetrate this level, which is at 29.23 cents. If I wanted to be a little more aggressive in my trade, I would be looking for the 236 to pull back to instead of the 382. So again, I've got the 382 at 29.5 cents. 236 is sitting right at 30 to 31 cents. So potentially putting in a small bid here in the 30-cent range, and then to complete my position down at the 29.5-cent range. So we're looking for these two Fibonacci levels for wave 4. And to be quite honest, if it penetrates this level, which is at 29.23 cents, I'm out. I'm out of this trade, and I will happily walk away with the coins that I had accumulated down here. I'll walk away with that profit. So that is my thought on Ripple. So I have not sold Ripple. I'm still waiting for it to play out, and I will throw in a little more funds here at the 29.5 to 30-cent range. Sure, it'll bring up my dollar cost average. It'll bring up my average entry price a little bit, but that's okay. The majority of my holding was right here. And again, I would be looking as a target, I would be looking for anywhere between 34 cents to 37 cents. I don't think that it'll penetrate and close above 37 cents. We could have a wick that goes up there. Another way to do a projection here, just for the record, we know that wave 3 is going to be the longest wave, so we're basically going to be using our trend-based fib extension. We're going to measure the length of the 1 projected from the end of the 3. So this is going to look a little funny, but we're not going to look for this to extend beyond 100%. So again, this is just further confirmation that 38.25 cents is going to be probably the highest that we're going to go. So, we're looking in this range for us to break down for right now. I don't think we're going to hit 50 cents anytime soon. It'd be really great if we did, but I am going to be taking profit in this range right here. So just being very careful of this, because those are going to be levels to really pay attention to. So once we get into this range, I want to look at the reaction, but I will be taking profit there, especially if I do fill some entries down here. I will take profit on them once we get up to this point. And, really looking at this from a price range perspective, if you accumulated at even 26.5 cents to where we currently are, that's 19% profit. Then if you take it up to this level right here, we're looking at 30%. That's a really good return. This is a really good return. So you should be happy if you did happen to take that trade. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and take a look at Litecoin. Litecoin is real interesting right now. So we have a nice curving action here, very similar to what I pointed out yesterday on Ethereum. We do have a little bit of a sort of a hyperbola or a parabola rather starting to form here. So this could look pretty good for Litecoin moving forward. I would be kind of taking a look at this. Right now we are sitting at resistance. So again, just like all of the others, you've got your support, you've got your resistance levels. So keep an eye on it. I would take this candle closure here, and what I'm looking at is this cluster right here, a good trading cluster for several days. We had resistance here, we broke through, we found support. So we had nice tweezer bottoms down here at the bottom. It kind of took us up a little bit. And then we broke through, we found resistance, and now this is sort of where we're sitting right now. So I would like to see Litecoin break above $80. So we're at like 79.25. So I'd like to see it break above $80 and work its way up to our next level that we need to be paying attention to is the the psychological $100 mark, and that falls in line with this wick right here. And so we're looking at this wick, we're looking at this resistance, this support, this resistance, and assuming that we get up there, we're going to be looking at $100. And from $80 where we currently are at right now, that is a 25% increase. If we go from $80 up to $100, you increased your portfolio by 25%. So if you do take a trade in this range, and again, I would be very cautious doing so, and again, looking at Elliott wave, what I see here, I see a 1, 2, and then I see another 1, 2 working into a 3, 4, 5, which would probably take us up here to $84, and then for us to pull back and go in for that fifth. So looking for this, and again, if you want me to illustrate that in terms of our memes here, so we're looking at a 5-wave impulse. So what I'm looking at is from here, I've got a 1, I've got a 2, and then I'm looking to complete the 3, and then a 4, and then a 5. And where that ends, I'm not really sure. We'll wait to see what this looks like. But I'm definitely seeing a 1, 2, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish the 3. Maybe this is going to go a little bit higher, and this will pull back. We're talking days here. We're not talking about, hours. And then for this 5 to continue, we'll kind of see where that goes. But it may get stalled out here at about $90. So somewhere between 90 and 100, I would be looking. So I'll go ahead and mark this on here as well. This is the area that I would really be paying attention to. It's going to be based on these order blocks over here. So looking at this as our critical area that we will be looking for some price action to get us through there. And of course, we need volume. Everybody's talking about euphoria. Everybody's talking about really sick gains, and I think that's fantastic. But just putting things into perspective, we do have really great price action. But for those of you that are really paying attention, we've been making lows after lows after lows on alts. That is the truth, and you all know that I did a really popular video a few weeks, maybe months ago at this point. I talked about the altcoin scam. And this is what I was talking about. We get our prices down so low that it doesn't take much for the price to go up. Empty order books. All of the retailers have sold just slowly and just have given up hope. And now look at what happened in Lumens. We had a huge, massive candle that took us all the way up to major resistance, and we have gone down so much since it spiked up that high. We went from 12.5 cents down to 8 cents. That's a 33% decrease from the high just today. So again, you need to be very careful buying into a rise, especially like what happened in Lumens. We've got real good rises in a lot of these coins right now, and I would still be very cautious on buying into them at this point. I think the point to buy them was days ago. I don't think today is the day to get yourself back into this market. Unless you're looking to buy long term, but I do think we're going to correct back down. That's when I would be looking to get back in. So just be very careful. I don't want to see people losing money, and it's a sad moment, and you just need to be very careful with that. As far as Bitcoin goes, the analysis still is sort of intact from yesterday. I'm still looking at this. It's becoming less and less probable that we are going to get up here to this 10,800 level. Still looking at 10,600 for us to potentially get up to. Anywhere between 10.6 and 10.8, that's going to be sort of where I'm going to be looking to open up that short that I was discussing yesterday. And then, of course, looking down here at 9,500 or 9,550 to hedge along, and then wait to see how this wedge reacts. You want to see which way it's going to break out. Sure, I am somewhat bullish, so I am looking for this to break up, but I want to be ready if it breaks down. So these are the plans that you have to have in place if things are going to go the wrong way. If they're going to trade against you, you need to have some plan to work its way out. So again, shorting on perpetual, longing on a futures contract, usually the Z19. Again, I would not touch the U19 at this point. There's only about 12 days left on that contract anyway. So I'm looking for this to resolve in that time frame. So I wouldn't touch the U19 contract. I'd be looking for the Z19. So that's really what I've got for you right now. We still are in this white area on Bitcoin. I wouldn't open up a trade on this. I would look for a break up to go long, but I'm still looking to go short at the top of this range. And then I'm looking for a break down for me to eventually look to open up a long, but still kind of paying attention to this level between 9,500 and 9,550 or so. And then we'll go from there. And yeah, I'm going to be looking for consolidation above this red trend line or consolidation below this red trend line down here. So that's going to be what sort of tells me the real direction that we're going to go. Chances are pretty good it's going to be an explosion. So you just have to be very careful, and which is why you want to enter your trades and just sort of sit and wait, because right now we are in that boring zone. We had our volatility back here. We had huge swings, and now we are entering the closing phase of this consolidation. So just be very careful with your trades again. That's all I got for today. I was able to keep it under 20 minutes. So everybody have a good day.